honestly.
We will be starting in just one moment. Okay. I'm so surprised that so many people came to this meeting. Thank you all so much. I'm not going to wait till announcements to say go Brewers. If anybody isn't saying go Brewers, then hold that to yourself. You do have freedom of speech, but I'd appreciate it if you kept that to yourself. I believe everybody other than just Chicago area and the Los Angeles area is hoping that the Brewers win this series. And with that, we will call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee DeBoer is excused this evening. Trustee Tretchell?
Here.
Pfeiffer?
Here.
Walschlager? Here. Connor?
Here.
Hallquist?
Here.
President Vanderstill.
Here. If you'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, remove your caps. This will be led by Trustee Hallquist.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As is typical with our meetings, the first thing we have is public comments. Anybody that would like to speak in public comments, please step towards the podium.
Jake Zeal, 306 Lawn Street. I'm going to look at my notes here so I don't forget anybody like I did the other night. Sorry, Sam. I just wanted to thank a bunch of people for all the help that we had for the pumpkin party in the park. If you weren't there, it went really well. I know some village trustees were there. Thank you for coming, for supporting. We definitely had more people than last year. I don't know any estimates, but it was a lot. The park was full. It was really good. And so thank you to village staff, the village board, DBW, the rec department twice, police and fire for your support, the Hartland Library, the Hartland Lakeside Education Foundation, Hartland Lake Country Rotary, Friends of the Library. We were very happy to have like a dozen football players from Arrowhead help us out move pumpkins in the morning, and had, I don't know, probably a dozen or more other volunteers out there. And we had many sponsors. I won't go through all of them, but our main sponsors were Dave Draycamp Heating and Cooling, Hartland Family Chiropractic, Rapco Fleet Support, and like I said, lots of other sponsors. So thank you again. Oh, and I should have said on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Hartland. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak in public comment?
Hi, my name is Michael D'Alberto. I live at 1052 Woodbridge Court. I'm here to revisit
We have the American Legion Post 294. We have a de facto manager running the bar, and I know that it's been kind of controversial. The police said it's not criminal, which they did their investigation, but I've been getting miscommunication here saying the village doesn't have responsibility here, and I believe they do. I don't understand why you haven't acted. I've sent emails. I came before you and asked you, so I just want to know what you have done so far to fix it.
I'll be able to touch base with you on, Mike, on the people I've called. I know we've been emailing back and
There's
forth.
there's nothing else with that? Like, could you let us know what you've done?
I can. In public comment, we usually don't do the back and forth, but I can contact you and let you know, absolutely. Or even after this meeting, which it's a long one, but I mean, I can contact you, or even set up a meeting so we can get together with Chief and everybody.
You don't think it should be like a public thing where everybody should know about what's going on?
Oh, I do. I do. I'm more than happy to address that. But I can't do that right now in public.
Because the reality is, I had to file my own civil claim to get an audit done of the post. And I don't think I should have to do that. I thought that you should have been able to do that. And it's been almost 2 months, so I'm not getting on you. I just feel like you're deflecting here by not putting it out in the public what you have done. And
I will say this, Mike, if what the things you're saying, and there's, sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire, the things that you're
There absolutely
saying,
is smoke
if
and
they're
there's
going on there, I think somebody should absolutely be looking into it. I do understand with the police department, they looked at it, it's not criminal. But I also, if the things you're claiming, we've also sent it to various institutions, including the Department of Revenue and those institutions, but I'm more than happy to even schedule a meeting with the, myself, the village, police chief, the village manager, so that we can talk about those things more.
Because I want to also let the Honorable Judge Melvin know what I've done to try and exhaust everything, all my administrative issues and stuff, and that's the reason I came before you. So at least I can say, the board hasn't done anything so far, so we'll see what happens from here. Thank you.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak in public comment? Anybody on Zoom that would like to speak in public comment? Since there's nobody else that wants to speak in public comment at this time, we're do the introduction of the Business Improvement District. This is the director, Stacy Giddings, and also Steve, who is the president of the bid. They are going to introduce to us revisiting Toad. I'll let you give all the descriptions. We've done this before. It's worked out very well, so go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. So as you guys probably know, Kristen Smith left as our director. She stayed around for about 2 months, did some administrative stuff for us. The executive committee did an extensive interview process, and we're happy to announce that Stacy Giddings is our new bid director. So I wanted to have her come up, introduce herself, tell you a little bit about her, and then we can jump into the Toad stuff. So.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for having me. I'm Stacy Giddings, and I'm very proud to represent Hartland and be the bid director. I've met a lot of business owners, and they are very grateful for our community, very optimistic about that future, and I share that optimism. My professional background includes marketing, fundraising, and event planning, so I really look forward to utilizing those skills towards the betterment of the Hartland community. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the next fun part. For the last probably about 10 months, the Business Improvement District has been in contact with the leaders of Toad Tour of America's Dairyland. They sang our praises about the one time that they had the event here in 2021. It was fairly well attended, but unfortunately it felt like it was kind of scrapped together on a short time frame. We only had about a 3-month timeline that we were working on it, and so they pretty much tell us what day we could have, and we take it or not. I've been campaigning because a lot of the feedback was people that came to that event maybe didn't find a reason to come back to Hartland as much as we thought they would. So my hope was we could take a look at the Wednesday of Hometown Celebration. That gives a full weekend of events for people to come back, experience something they've never experienced with Hartland. Again, the race was extremely well attended, and the board of directors for Tour of America's Dairyland actually met last week, voted on all their stops, and they want to return to Hartland next year on June 24th, which is the Wednesday of hometown celebration. So obviously, we'll have to go through all the approvals and things like that, but we wanted to at least put this out there to the board and the community as we start planning, kind of gauge the interest, get any feedback so that we can either work through some of those obstacles or just continue to build up and make this a really good event that hopefully will continue for years going forward. Big thing with us, the way we want to plan it is we want to maximize utilizing our establishments in downtown. We want to make every opportunity for the bars, restaurants, storefronts to all be involved, whichever way possible. I know we had a couple business owners that had some feedback after the last event, so we're looking for ways that we can overcome those and really, again, get everybody involved. It's a great volunteer opportunity for everybody in the village. Fundraising, we've already secured what we would need to for the event. So really just looking for any feedback that you guys may have that we can take back to.
The quick feedback, I just want to say, there's not a lot of police, public works, there's not a lot of village resources. They provide the barricades. They have the crowd in and outs. And when we met with them, they said this was the bikers, some of their favorite route because it was just so quick and it was fun.
I thought it was great. I mean, other than certain businesses or a business, which is no longer a business owner, I mean, there was a lot of people that were really happy with it. It puts a showcase on Hartland. So I do commend you with sticking with it. And anything we can do to showcase Hartland, which is exactly what the bid is always striving to do. I mean, I guess this is just a testament to you being the president now and you coming in, you guys working towards something and sticking with it, because we already know, I mean, we didn't have any logistical problems. We didn't have any safety problems. Pushing the people that come and watch to the businesses more, we've been through one now. So kind of we know, like, we'll work harder. But some of the businesses really went above and beyond, I think, too. I mean, like Tabby's, I mean, they had tables right out.
Yep.
I think other businesses really tried to do that. So with as much time as we have, I commend you for working towards that end in trying to bring it back. And obviously it would be a board decision, but I think that's really great to be looking, because these are the kind of things that showcase Hartland. And honestly, if 25 people come that haven't seen Hartland before, and are like, wow, this is an amazing community, that's always a help because people talk.
And with managing an office right where the start-finish line was, people came in to use our restrooms, and I can't tell you how many times they said, we didn't even know Hartland existed, and we love this little town.
Yep.
And that's what my goal is to bring people in with various events, especially this one, showcase our downtown, and make them, feel like they have a destination to come back to for something.
So the next steps, what would the next steps be? This is just an introduction that you'd like to do that? Do you want us, you're still working things on your guys' end, or you're looking for us to get an agenda item that would approve the date, or for the board to talk and possibly, obviously, everything's possibly because the board isn't voting on it, but.
Right. We will need to confirm with Tour of America's Dairyland within probably the next 45 days, whether we're a hard yes, hard no. And then from there, our logistical planning and everything would be, we're already starting that. We'd look to keep the same race, route, everything the same
Would it be
way.
easier for you if we did get it on the next agenda, and so the board can start talking about it, pending that they want to come, that we approve that date? Does that make things easier for you?
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that. And
Yeah,
if there's
and we-
more questions from the board, we'll shoot them at you, but.
We
Yeah,
put it on
that'd
the agenda to make sure there was an appetite for this for the board. He didn't want to put in 6 months of planning and it be voted no and that type of thing. So just making sure that everyone here has a desire to bring it back.
So tonight, we could do discussion,
Here.
yeah, I think I would allow discussion on it if people want to discuss or have questions. We've had one already, I mean, this is, as long as the board will allow.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think my initial concern was, is there gonna be an overload on DPW for the logistics tied into what is happening in Nixon Park for setup and all that? But from what you're saying, Ryan,
They'll have a way around. Maple will be open. Yeah, Park Avenue is closed, but we'll figure it out. But DPW doesn't put up barricades. DPW isn't doing anything along the route. That is all brought in by Toad and everything.
Okay, good.
And it is about a 13-hour event, so the roads would be closed for about 13 hours. So
And honestly, by Wednesday of that event, we already have the carnival and all that other stuff. Like we start, Monday, if not the week prior to that. So, we can have everything on park brought in already for the most part, and then just use the Maple entrance too. So,
Get it on the next agenda.
Only thing I wanted to mention is I'm not sure what the route will look like. I know they purposely left this building out of the route last time. My only concern is if we're included, that's just I know we can get in and out from time to time, but obviously the police department's in this building.
No,
And I can't always control when we get in.
it's same route.
Okay,
Goodwin, so to block off those.
perfect. Yep.
That subdivision they'll have to go door to door, let them know, and the people on park have to park in our park, but it's 13 hours of one day.
Yep.
So Steve, if we put it on the agenda, if you could gather, and maybe you already have this, but gather as much information so that
Absolutely.
when they put it in the packet
Yep.
for what would be 2 weeks from now, that'd be great.
yeah, definitely can do that.
Sandy can send you the special event permit.
Because then it'd be tentative, pending that you are awarded the,
Right.
yeah.
Well, they said it's ours if we want it.
Yep.
That specific date,
Yep.
so. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. And one friendly reminder, Creepy Crawl is on October 25th. It's our first event doing costumes and cocktails. It's all in the establishments, participating establishments downtown, costume contest, and just something to give back with some of the establishments. So it's a 12 to 4 on a Saturday. So that's all I got.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Appreciate it.
All right, the next item we have on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the September 22nd meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of September 22nd, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items related to vouchers. We have consideration of a project closeout payment in the amount of $13,305.90 to Zignego Company, Inc. for the 2025 Utilities Program.
yeah, this is final payment for Zignego. We've gone through the inspections, all the work that they did on West Capitol and in portions of Four Winds. Staff recommends making the payment of $13,305.90 to Zignego Company.
I'll make a motion that we approve the project closeout payment in the amount of $13,305.90 to Zignego for the 2025 utility program.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay Zignego for the 2025 Utilities Program. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of contractor's application for payment number 4 in the amount of $582,149.74 to Wolf Paving Company, Inc. for the 2025 paving program.
Yeah, once again, Wolf is coming back, fourth payment. We've done inspections. We were happy with the work that they did this year. Staff recommends making a payment of $582,149.74 to Wolf Paving Corporation.
I'll make a motion to approve the number 4 payment in the amount of $582,149.74 to Wolf Paving.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay Wolf Paving for the 2025 paving program. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of contractor's application payment number 2 in the amount of $363,593.12 to Globe Contractors, Inc. for the Progress Drive Sanitary Relay Project.
All right, so this was the project on Progress Drive. We kind of had a couple hiccups as far as this being a project that we did prior to any utility project or anything like that. Usually we always do a utility project out, then we do the paving project. So we kind of ran into some issues. You'll see that we had some additional charges on the second page of this. So we had some water valves that need to get replaced. One of our big things has always been we don't want to tear up a road after we just repaved it. So that's where you're going to see a lot of these additional charges that weren't initially thrown in. If you guys remember, I came to the board and asked to get the whole road done instead of just doing the trench patch, which thankfully we did, because that trench turned into the entire road like we thought, just because of the soils that we have around here, and it kept caving in and caving in. So we've done the inspections, walked through that area multiple times. Staff recommends paying Globe $363,593.12.
Make a motion that we approve the payment number 2 in the amount of $363,593.12 to Globe Contractors for the Progress Drive Sanitary Relay Project.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve payment number 2 for $363,593.12 to Globe Contractors for the Progress Drive Sanitary Relay Project. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have a consideration of the vouchers in the amount of $2,188,972.67.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $2,188,972.67.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the vouchers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Whoop,
Aye.
Oh,
I had a couple questions.
Hold on.
On page 6, we got Palmer Steakhouse, 2024 snow plowing, 1336. Is that just a delayed payment?
Yes,
I would
it
have
is.
thought we'd been paid off, months ago, but
Nope,
it is.
that's the delayed, and that's our third that we split with Palmer's, Silver Leash in the village for that alley.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Rick?
Good.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have review and consideration of items that are related to licenses and permits. We have 2 bartenders licensed that are for Amelia Kreblin and Brett Phelan. Chief, anything you want to add here, or are we good to vote?
Yeah, just very briefly, both applications were approved by me, but because they just didn't have a clean background, we always then bring those to the board. There was just some disorderly conduct charges for Amelia, or whatever it is, Kreblin's bartender license in 2012 and 2022, nothing of significance. And then there were 2 OWIs for Brett Fallon. And then one of them, there was also a possession of paraphernalia and THC conviction in municipal court in 2018. The OWIs were in 2015 in Ohio, and then another one in 2021 here in Wisconsin.
Chief, how many, I call them DWIs, how many before we say no? If it's not within the last year?
Correct. So there's not a rule to it.
Okay.
We've always done it kind of what I would call subjectively, in the sense of timing, the
So they're not
frequency on the
habitual.
timing, and then any other relevant information. Like when we had a death, where there was actually a death involved with an OWI, and that was a little more significant than your run-of-the-mill OWI. So we take all that information per the statute and either say if it's a repeat criminal offender, and then how it's directly related to their ability to appropriately make those decisions as a bartender.
Thank you.
Was there any discussion, obviously on here, he put 1 down, you said there was 2 during your conversation with him, or do you think because it was out of state it wasn't relevant, or?
Right, I think how we had it worded too, it might have alluded to that, but I forgot what the actual answer was to
I
that
did
question.
speak with him. He is going to be working at Bristlecone, and he did confirm that they don't allow drinking there, by employees. It did show up on his record as an OWI second in Wisconsin, so I did talk to him and ask him when his first one, and he did explain that it was in Ohio previously. So.
And I think that was the issue, is the state issue of it being Wisconsin versus Ohio, and that's how people read into that. And we're very specific on some of the charges, so even sometimes some of the other things that could relate to their decision-making isn't always disclosed, because this is very alcohol-driven due to the nature of the license.
I'll make a motion, since staff approved, that we approve both bartender applications for Amelia Ann Kreblin and Brett William Phelan.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the bartender's license as listed for the two people, Amelia and Brett. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration of a special event application by the Ice Age Trail Community Committee for Moonlight Hike on November 8th, 2025. Sir?
Different hat.
Yes. I think we've been doing these for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Usually do a fall one and a winter one. This is the fall one, being November 8th. The event, I was just looking, the event paperwork says event starting at 6. That's really when we start setup. The actual event is 6:30 till, about 8 o'clock. We'll have free apple cider. It'll be at the Cottonwood Wayside, pending decent weather. We will have a fire in the chimney, as we often do, and DPW is helping out with that. Police is helping with some cones to make sure that we're not completely blocking off that street. Dorner has graciously, as they have often done, offered their parking lot for extra parking. We'll have a few people out there just kind of not really directing traffic, but letting people know that there's extra parking. We'll have a few signs, and that's about it. Yeah. And we usually have a little over 100 people attend these, assuming we have good weather. And I would say, I mentioned this at the park board meeting, that as we're talking to people, I would say at least half, if not 2/3 of the people that come are from outside of Hartland. A lot of people that just love Ice Age Trail, and so I think it's a good opportunity to bring people in. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event application by Ice Age Trail Community Committee for the Moonlight Hike on November 8th.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Ice Age Trail Community Committee Moonlight Hike on November 8th. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we have items referred from the park board. Discussion and consideration of changes in park shelter and athletic field fees and deposits.
All right, so if you look in the packet, we have 3 different types of permits that go out here. The first one starts off with the current, that goes out to the general population, so anyone that is reserving a field. This is not a user group or anything like that. So if a family wants to rent a field for whatever, they have a family party or something like that, they can do so. So in the first redlined item, number of participants and the refundable deposit, everything that's redlined, we are getting rid of. So what we had basically before was a restoration deposit and then a participant deposit. In Civic Rec, this becomes very difficult and confusing for staff to kind of manage all these, as far as, okay, they have this many participants, they get charged this number, they're using this field, it's this number, so they're basically trying to streamline it. The new version of this, which is the next one, the restoration deposit went up $250, and it's basically just covering for that difference between not having the participant deposit. So we're really not raising it up, and this is not a revenue producer for us, because rarely do we ever, I've actually never seen it where we've actually taken a deposit away. So this money is going to go back unless the field is completely trashed. So, and then the field prep did go up for soccer fields and the football fields. It was 80. We have it listed at 150, just the amount of time it takes to get all those lines painted out on those fields with our staff. So we looked at that too. The next thing is the user group packet. This is different. So this is for all of our clubs and stuff that come in and play. Once again, we're getting rid of the number of participants and the deposit per field specifically, and we're going to a general $2,000 for the year charge. Once again, this is not really gaining any in revenue, or anything like that, because this money's gonna be returned over, and it's just adjusted to how it comes out. It's not pulling from this pot and this pot, it's like, here, this is the charge for it all, basically. And then there's,
Tom, can I clarify that deposit? So anybody that does like, this is for user groups.
yep,
If you're gonna use our field, whether it's for one time or 100 times, which is fine, we're gonna be like, you gotta put down $2,000, but you'll get that refunded to you.
correct.
If you don't do anything
If they're a
wrong.
user group, if they're just a resident that wants
Yep,
to use it
yep.
for,
Just wanted to make sure, yeah.
yep, okay. And then this comes inside the user group packet that's handed to any group that comes in
Yep.
when they show up, so. And same thing here for the soccer field and the football field, the prep went up. Then we have the park facility reservation application. This, we just took out a lot of things that aren't being used. The other structures and bounce houses, we've been having, kind of some issues with that. Other space reserved, we're taking that out, that's never really used. And then the 100 to 200 participants category we're taking out as well. So if you look at the new one, we're only gonna have the 100 plus, and that's gonna be a $300 deposit. So once again, it's just kind of streamlining things. And on the back thing, we just added some rules, the bounce houses and dunk takes and climbing walls and other stuff. If someone wants to come with that in the park, they need to fill out a special event application now, just so I can have staff go out there and make sure they're not driving stakes into any of my electrical out there or any of the bollards and everything else. You know, this has kind of been handled that way before, but I'm talking with a family who is trying to work with Digger's Hotline, and they're trying to get a locate, and then the locate's in the wrong spot, and then we're getting a call on the weekend, can we put it here, do we know where this is? So we just kind of took that out. If they really want a bounce house, they can fill out a special event paperwork, we'll work with them that way. Tables cannot be removed from the shelter. I mean, a lot of this stuff is just basic housekeeping for us. The refunds, if they cancel, it used to be a $10 fee. We're just putting a $20 or 20% fee on that for administration processing of cancellations. And just a reminder that trash is collected once a day in the morning. So when our guys go there on the weekend, if a shelter is reserved twice, which it can be, we're coming through and picking up one time. So we'll get a phone call in the middle of a Saturday asking about, hey, why isn't the trash picked up? Our guy was in there earlier. That shelter was reserved prior to. So just some basic reminders on that. I do want to note, though, that this was approved at the park board with the caveat, if I will, that they want us to look at prepping fees for ball fields. We went over kind of the thing, you know, we're always on the thing where we don't want to make money, we don't want to lose money. We want to keep it right where we're charging them what it costs us to do it. So we're going to be looking at that and bringing that back to park board. I've already started working on that and kind of formed a calculation of chalk, paint, summer help, full-time help, averaged it and looked at that. So we'll be bringing that back to park board. The only issue is that this is going to be going out to those user groups pretty soon. So that would just be like an amendment to this, just changing that one thing. If we do go that direction towards park board, then I would be bringing it back just for that one change for a field prep. So
that was a question that I brought up was, as far as the prep and reservation fees, are we current or are we competitive with all of the surrounding communities? And I know that Tom's been working on trying to get some comparisons. And I know that if the summer help is doing the prep work, then obviously we're making money. And if the regular help does it, then we're losing money. So it kind of works itself out. And he's kind of got a little graph that he's working on.
yeah.
And so we'll have that information, I think, next park board for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'll be done next park. And that's the thing. And, you know, surrounding communities, there's some that are lower than us, some that are higher than us. And there's a lot of communities that user groups themselves are prepping the field, or the Legion is prepping the field, and it's not actually the municipality that's doing the field prep, so it's hard to kind of dictate that with, so many different organizations and how they do it in each area and stuff like that. So I think the little calculation I just made up is gonna work. I literally took, how much chalk we use per year and calculated with 180 preps is approximately what we do year per year and kind of figured that out, so coming soon.
I think this is all really good, and I'm glad to hear that they're looking at the prep field for baseball, because obviously that takes a lot. I mean, I don't ever hear a lot come over football or soccer or anything like that. So I think that this is good. I think the deposit thing is really good to streamline that. From a baseball standpoint, I hope, and I mean, that's great, figuring out what it costs for the chalk, what it costs for personnel. The only request I would make is while you're coming up with that, to get in touch with the Ryan, or preferably Ryan upstairs. I mean, I've had meetings that I've been called, not on purpose, but because those user groups are calling, and they're like, what about this, and what about this, and what about this? Please be cognizant of the time that's spent by the village. And I know you know this. I mean, there's been a lot of time. It's getting less and less, but, we've got a new system in place so that they can, rent the fields and stuff like that. And please pass this on to Park Board. But I think that that should be taken into account. I mean, if in the course of a season, if, I know this sounds like a lot, but remember all of this starts in like February 8th to April, and then it goes on throughout the year. But if there's 30 man hours of time that goes into that, with meetings and everything else on who gets what field and the complaints that come in and the people at the counter, I just want everybody to be cognizant that right there, that's $1,000, possibly more. So I hope that we take that into consideration too. I understand there's the chalk, and that's an easy one, but let's take into account all the people that are
Admin staff
involved.
time, yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, I want to be able to have it all written down so that if the user groups start complaining that the costs are too high, then we just say, well, here's our costs. So you can
I
see that
agree.
we're not trying to
Yep.
make money on the deal, so.
And I agree with you 100%, Tim, because they'll complain and say they don't like it simply because it's a change. But we do have something that's in high demand, and I don't think it's going to go unrented. I haven't seen yet where it goes unrented. I could be wrong. You guys are more involved in it, but don't want to gouge someone. I just want to make sure that we're getting it.
Right.
Yeah, and I will say the Civic Rec has helped out with that tremendously. We kind of set the guide rules for that. We kind of, went over what we all wanted to see and, kind of issues we've had in the past. And, we're constantly talking about how we can improve upon it. So it's starting to get streamlined, and this will definitely help with that. So
I think it's great.
I definitely think it's more streamlined and easier to manage with the fewer options and things. It makes a lot of sense. So I would make the motion that we approve the changes in the park, shelter, and athletic field fees and deposits.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the changes to the park field, any fees and deposits as presented. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the meeting, but it's saying fees and deposits, so it's mostly the fees that are equal deposits that get back, right? Because I'm looking at like the base fees. There's no discussion of that, but I'd like to, maybe you were talking about looking at other things. I was just looking at this over in general, and some of these base fees I think we should reconsider as well. And it's not part of this, but.
just the actual rental of the field, you're saying?
Correct. But when here it said, I wasn't meaning when it says, fees and deposits, so I took this as, these are fees, but you're talking about fees that are deposits.
Yeah, so
Versus
there's the base fee, which is like the rental of the field.
Right.
Then there's the prep fee, and then there's the deposit. Yeah, we just changed the deposit here and just the prep for soccer and football. So yeah, we can look at that too.
Okay, yeah, so that's a separate issue. I was gonna bring up tonight when I saw that, but
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify first. Okay. Yep.
I do have one question. I know, let's say a fee is, and I don't have the sheet in front of me, but let's say the fee for a field is $45, and then you guys put on there plus
Pretty good, Tim.
$2.45 tax or whatever. So do you charge $42.50 or whatever it is, or do you just say,
No, it's 45 unless they use a card, right, Ryan? We don't charge tax.
I'm just curious if
that.
that's.
I mean, now we're
still-
down a rabbit hole. Are they tax exempt? Are they not tax exempt?
Okay,
So
yeah.
you guys, It's not that easy. It's,
Is that why you put it separate? I guess
Yeah.
that's my question too.
Okay,
You
so
put it
that's why.
separate
so we
'cause
have
most
park
of them are
rentals
tax
that are
exempt.
tax exempt
Okay.
versus tax, so.
That's what I want.
So
So,
if Jeff Vanderstill comes for having a birthday
You're
party for
paying
my
the
son in the pavilion, I'm gonna
$42.50.
pay the money plus the tax because
Correct.
I'm not tax exempt.
okay, that's fine. I was wondering.
And then we
I always
pay the
wondered
tax
about
to the
that, too.
state, it's in and out.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to award the 2025 tree planting contract to Don Larson Landscaping, Inc. for the sum of $6,009.
All right, so this is our annual contract to do all street trees and some trees in the park. We are really getting down there, thanks to, knock on wood, no disease coming around recently, but, and new occupancies too. So, went out, contacted several tree companies. We only got 2 proposals. Dan Larson was the lowest and qualified bidder. We've used him the last 3 years. His prices are phenomenal. Staff recommends using Dan Larson Landscaping Incorporation for a total of $6,006 for this year's tree planting contract.
I have $6,009.
On the agenda, it's 6,009, but on his sheet, it's 6,006. I do
No,
have a
you're right.
question.
No, it's 6,009. Yeah.
9 in both
I
here.
put a 6 instead of 9 in there. On the actual proposal, it's 9. So that was a mistake by me.
I have a question, though. How many
Yep.
residents said, no, we don't want the trees replaced?
Ooh, I don't have that in front of me.
I mean, half of them? I'm
Quite a
just
few do
curious.
now.
Yeah, quite a few now. I mean,
Okay.
and there's some areas where trees aren't just not suitable to live. And it's under a power line, and it is within a very small terrace area, and a lot of the residents have, they've noticed that themselves, so, that's kind of where we're getting into those locations and stuff like that. But, I haven't actually calculated. I'd be curious to know that. Because, yeah, they do have to respond to us back in that letter. That was part of, that was quite a while ago that was brought to you guys prior to me, that they need to say that they want a tree before we just go and install one. So, yeah, I could look at that and get numbers the last 2 years at least. So,
All right, I'll make a motion then to award the 2025 tree planting contract to Don Larson's Landscaping, Inc. for the sum of $6,009.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 2025 tree planting contract to Don Larson's Landscaping, Inc. for $6,009. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to replace the SCADA PLC and the SCADA computer for the village's distribution and collection system.
So, if you guys have noticed, the last 3 or 4 years now, we've been replacing all the PLCs at our lift stations and well houses. PLCs have a 10-year lifespan, if you will, and our
It's a
computers.
PLC.
Programming logic control. SCADA is supervisory control and data acquisition. SCADA runs all of our well houses and all of our lift stations. Tells everything, when, so that the PLC at each outside location tells it when to fire and run. That communicates back with the SCADA system and tells us those things are working. That is also attached to our alarm system that calls out and lets us know if there's an alarm, if there's a pump that's clogged, if a well goes out of power, if there's not flow. Multiple alarms are all pinged off of SCADA. SCADA is the bloodline of any utility. If you don't have SCADA, you don't have anything. So, yeah, where was I going with that now? So, PLC lifespan is 10 years. The computer is 3 to 5, just because that thing's running 24/7, 365. So, we've been really focusing on changing all the PLCs in all of the lift stations and all the well houses. That the computer was not a budgeted thing or something that we saw, and I Just kind of recently went over with our engineers, and they said, you need to replace this one. I said, well, okay. So I said that would have been nice to know prior to kind of our budgeting and stuff like that. And, you know, we're in the time slot where we need to. I can't stick it out another year and push on the budget just by the age of it. Right now, if that PLC at our shop would go down, it's unsupported. So this is a definite need, and we need to do it before that happens, because that would not be good. So,
Tom, is it safe to say that the PLC is like the phone and the SCADA is like the network? Basically, your phone doesn't communicate too much without it. So your phone, you can go through the stuff you add, but you're not communicating anything out.
Yeah, he brought this to me, and we can't wait a year.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yep. So like I said, I think we were so focused on everything, you know, outside, we didn't actually look at our main control. I have all of these on a Excel sheet now with the years and they were installed, and the model PLC that we have, and the cycle of having to install these. And I threw this SCADA computer in because we had all the well houses down and we had all the lift stations down, but we didn't actually think of our main control. So, but yeah, Rukert and Milky has always been our programming specialist that's done all the brains behind all of our SCADA systems. So they would be working with OnTech to set up the computer and to get the PLC and all the hardware and programs running for this. So that was the number that Rukert and Milky provided, was $35,000. Staff recommends replacing the PLC, the SCADA PLC and SCADA computer for the village distribution and collection system.
What was that total?
$35,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the replacement of the SCADA PLC and SCADA computer for $35,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve to replace the SCADA PLC and the SCADA computer for the village's distribution and collection system for $35,000. Any discussion?
Yeah, I probably know the answer to this, but this is not a bid situation, right? I mean,
No, I mean, just because Rukert and Milky is kind of proprietary to all of our programming, if you will. So this is something that I would definitely not feel comfortable, and I don't even know if we really could unless we rewrote all the programming, and that would be exponential compared to this. Yeah, no, definitely.
Else for discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to join the intergovernmental agreement with Waukesha County for the municipal recycling dividend program.
All right, so
I thought we already were.
So yeah, so we are in this intergovernmental agreement with Waukesha County. The issue is back in 2023, the MRF, or the Material Recovery Facility, burnt down. So that facility burnt down. Since then, they have been basically running on kind of their alternative location. They've now had enough time to. Initially, they were going to try to rebuild that MRF facility. Then it was decided that would cost too much to rebuild. So now they're putting in a new contract, and basically what this contract is doing is defining where our recyclables are going to be going, and kind of highlights out more in detail what is to happen again if the next MRF was to completely burn down to where it was inoperable, or anything else would happen at that facility. So it just kind of highlights that. I did hand this off to Hector and Trace. Trace gave me the approval for this and kind of basically just said what I did. They have a MRF balance basically, and it's basically an account that they receive from all the recyclables that are given back. So all the recyclables go into this recovery facility, and from that they go out, and whatever the recyclables are getting back at that period of time goes into a fund. If that fund was ever to get below the bottom of a certain dollar amount, then there is a chance that we could be charged a tipping fee. A tipping fee is just, they would start charging us per tonnage. The nice thing about this is when you have 25 other municipalities across Waukesha County going together for a contract, those numbers get a lot lower because you have a lot more bidding power, if you will, or a lot more power together. So the numbers that they were able to negotiate for this were good. Yeah. Staff recommends signing the intergovernmental agreement with Waukesha County for the municipal recycling dividend program.
Yeah, so all we're doing is moving. I mean, your other option is we'll just put it in your backyard.
Well, I mean, the other alternative option would be that we would be getting a contract out ourselves. So we, the Village of Hartland, would be looking for a contract with a MRF, basically. So our bargaining power, in my opinion, would be very small compared to having 25 other municipalities in this agreement. So, and this is something that we've been involved since 1990. This just puts in the new location of where it's going to be. Some of the other municipalities were kind of shocked by this because that new facility is a lot further for them, for their haulers to go. This is actually closer for us than the old one. It's
So
like five miles closer.
Does the county contract out, is it Thielen? Is that who handles our stuff? You know,
Like
those semi-trailers that come and knock down your crosswalks all the time?
Oh, I don't know who they specifically, who the county does, but I don't know that. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with Waukesha County for the municipal recycling dividend program.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the intergovernmental agreement with Waukesha County for the municipal recycling dividend program. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to approve a memorandum of understanding between Waukesha County Health and Human Services, Child Protective Services, and the Hartland Police Department, and authorize Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village. Chief.
Thank you. So this is similar to one we did a couple years ago with Adult Protective Services. This is just the Child Protective Services branch. So as you see in the memo, there's a lot of state statute that requires them to have these procedures in place, and that we have a policy on how we refer these cases to the district attorney for criminal prosecution, which we do. This just formalizes some of that networking and coordination between our two entities, which we do work fairly well together already, but it's just an MOU in place that outlines how we do that. I did have Village Attorney Trey Summel look through this, and he did not have any concerns with us entering into this agreement. And the reason for the authorization of myself to sign the MOU, and I think this was done also with the adult one, they put all the chiefs for all the different police departments that they're networking with for a signature. Technically, the village president would need to sign that on our behalf, unless you would delegate that authority for me to do it. If I had to have them change the name, we'd probably be signing that in about 6 months from now. So I was just hoping to keep it efficient and do it this way instead of having them change the signature line on their electronic document.
Makes sense. I would make a motion.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'd make that motion that we should approve the memorandum of understanding between Waukesha County Health and Human Services, Child Protective Services, and the Hartland Police Department, and authorize Chief Misko to sign on behalf of the village.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to allow Chief to sign for Waukesha County Health and Human Services, Child Protective Services, and the Village of Hartland. Chief, what's a situation that would come up where there would be any worry with this, hypothetically? I mean, I know there's not. Like, what, if a chief in your position, what should this village board be aware of if you were to, anything that goes on with this is gonna be coming to you anyways. And if it was for me to sign, or whoever's sitting in the seat would be coming to you, I'm guessing, anyway. So, but can you make up a scenario where it'd be like, oh, keep an eye on this? I mean, if there was something major going on, you would come and report to us.
Right,
That's kind of
yeah.
what I'm getting at.
I mean, as far as with the agreement itself, or with the investigations?
Or any investigations and signing on it where all of a sudden the village could be in hot water because you signed something and it's like, hey, I'm just
Yeah.
looking for just for the board to
I couldn't tell you of one.
Okay.
Especially in the way that we handled it. We'd have a record of the authorization for myself to sign.
Yep.
So I think we'd be good there. And again, this is an MOU, but there's really no funding for the MOU. It's just basically an agreement on how we act. And really state statute kind of dictates it. So this is kind of just formalizing that cooperative agreement for us to help each other and collaborate on these for the best interests of the child in these type of investigations. And the adult one was the same thing, just for adult protective services.
Got it. Thank you, Chief. We have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have discussion and consideration to approve the valuation services agreement with Valbridge Property Advisors regarding tax key HAV 0727143004 at Hartridge and Maple.
So this is that lot we talked about at the last meeting. You guys directed us to get a cost for an appraisal. That would be step one, where we get an appraisal, and then at that point, we could list it publicly, 30 days, have people submit prices for this piece of land with some designs or what they want, and then we would talk about it. But this is to get that appraisal so we know what the values of that green, let's say 3/4 of an acre by Hartridge, that corner section of Hartridge. This is the same person who did the appraisal for the Waukesha State Bank land, and they come recommended highly from Von Briesen. So,
Make a motion that we approve valuation services agreement with Valbridge Property Advisors regarding tax key HAV 0727143004 at Hartridge and Maple.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the valuation services agreement with Valbridge Property Advisors. In this case, it's the property at Hartridge and Maple, the tax key listed. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have an item, discussion regarding registered sex offender residency restriction. I want to brief the board that I did meet with our village attorney today. This being on the agenda came from, some of you were there, but came from, we did have the information sessions. And I don't like to call them information sessions, but they were information session plus Q&A / town hall plus tours with Hartland Fire and Hartland Police. What?
Are you doing the sex offender residency?
Yep. Okay. I'm saying why it's on the agenda.
Okay.
So someone moved into Four Winds. We had information sessions with the public, and they were able to, I'm sorry, yeah, that didn't, you're right. Two completely different things. I see why you're
I didn't take anyone on a
confused.
tour of the PD.
No, understood. We met with the residents. You're right, I was crossing hairs there. We met with the residents, though, and one of the things in saying to the residents was, we can put this on to look at it, because many of the people in Four Winds, not necessarily Trustee Connor, or not Trustee Connor necessarily, but many of the people in Four Winds believe that their subdivision should be completely exempt from people moving in because there's kids at bus stops and stuff like that. And I think that most people in most subdivisions, I just wanted to let you know why it's on the agenda. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to change anything. It doesn't mean we're not going to change anything. Maybe we'll make it 10 miles from a school. Maybe, but I wanted to put it on the agenda as a promise to the people, and I think us, all of us being good stewards and elected officials who are representatives of the people, it's been long enough since we've had a law go into place that we can have it on here. I did want to touch on, the history, because obviously some of this is coming up, and many of the people, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, or Ryan, or any of you that were there, many of those people had no idea what the history was. And in brief, the village board, and I did have a part to play in that, and I'm very proud of it. There's probably nothing I'm more proud of in this village, or what I've done while I've been the village president, was that there was no law up until 2017, 2018. We put a law in place, which was a moratorium to bring saturation levels down. Those went from 38, right now they're at 21.
Correct.
Right now they're at 21, that's a significant change. We did end up having, regardless of why, the whole thing was designed that we would end up having an ordinance with residency restrictions within, or from child safety zones. We did end up putting that ordinance into place, and that's the ordinance that we have now. So in 8 years, the village board went from having absolutely nothing from a legal standpoint, no law, no ordinance, to where we are now, including reducing from 38 to 21. So I want to say this is on there, but I commend the board on what they've been doing. I put this on more so with the intention, if someone did think that we need to make more distance, or obviously you can go any which way, less distance. I wanted it to be put on there. We can kind of relook at it. And it doesn't mean a decision has to be made. Maybe we want more info. But that's where we're at today. Chief, if there's anything you'd like to add, or any trustees that were at the information session.
Yeah, yes, as you recall from that moratorium, we had some court matters then that led us to this final version of our ordinance. You may see other communities with different foot requirements from these child safety zones, or even some different wording within the ordinance. It's not really there's no approved foot requirement. The state does do a 1,500 feet for violent sex offenders. That's the only thing the state oversees that are on supervision. But there's nothing for your sex offender just on the registry or anything like that otherwise. And what it is you got to look at the communities, those child safety zones, and then where the courts have ruled where it's too restrictive is if there's no available housing. So you can't just say 2,000 feet could work for one community, but if we were to do that, it could be too restrictive, or vice versa. So you really got to look at those maps and then say, what is it right, somewhat subjectively, that is there some available housing, and does it make sense with what we're restricting? So there's no just automatic, this footage is what it is. It's got to be taken into account for each community with what those child safety zones are, and then what percentage or amount of housing that leaves. This is somewhat timing in the sense that one of our facilities for children is identified as the Zion Lutheran School, which they actually no longer run a school out of. So that technically would not be applied as one of those facilities because there's no longer a school there. So that would obviously open up some housing that then you can look at the footage requirements and what does that make sense if that is something the board determines to do. It could be the same, it could be further distance to make it more restrictive to those specific child safety zones now that that area is opened up a little bit.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, and maybe you can help me on this, is we settled on 750 because I think we all wanted to go farther, but I think because of the housing issue, it eliminated, it
Yeah,
restricted.
I mean,
how
we
much
even looked
housing
at
was
paths, you know, like the Ice Age Trail or pathing units.
Yeah.
If we picked that up because of the path system we have in Hartland, it would be impossible to live anywhere.
So when we were going through this, and then also through the
Yeah, exactly.
through the court process, there were obviously a couple cases that were relevant that our village attorneys worked through. Some municipalities even got rid of because of their footage requirements and how many child safety zones, that could be parks, schools, whatever they chose to identify. I'll use, I think, the city of Milwaukee, their buffer zone left like out of the whole city of Milwaukee, like, again, it's approximate, I think it was 150 houses. So do you see it, like, those footage and where are those locations, that's not just a blanket answer. You got to show what's available within each community. So then that's how each community can be looked at. I am definitely not the village attorney to get into the weeds on something like that. I would recommend they look that through and give you proper legal guidance on that, so you can make those appropriate decisions where we don't find ourselves in a court matter, because that's not always the easiest to work through or the most cost efficient to work through. And then things typically end up changing if you end up going too restrictive. So I think there's that balance, and I think this does give that opportunity with that change, that may be it's just a good time for the board to take a look at it and see if there is something they want to do a little different with it.
Is there like a rule of thumb of a certain percent of available homes I mean, like that, if our community has 10,000 homes, a certain percent has to be available?
I am not
versus the To
I
your
am not
point, with
aware
the-
of that
Okay.
offhand, but I would definitely refer that back to Hector or Trace, that they could do some legal research, but I don't know if, it seems almost very subjective, and to say like there is some available housing, not just 100 homes in a city of, and I'm just using Milwaukee because that came up in an article where they only had that very minute amount of housing available, and I think that was the Pleasant Prairie case as well.
I was able to meet this afternoon with the village attorney, and I want to let you guys know, I don't know if this is city or town, but Brookfield has the city, 1,400 feet. Waukesha has 750 feet. Menominee Falls, 1,500 feet. Village of Pewaukee, 750 feet. Oconomowoc, 1,000 feet. Sussex, 1,000 feet. Delafield, 2,000 feet.
That's the city.
Merton,
Delafield?
Yeah.
The one that the attorney referenced was the town, but I think the city is the same.
Merton is 500 feet. And Lisbon, 1,500 feet. City of Milwaukee, due to lawsuit, eliminated residency restrictions for sex offenders, approximately 2018. The city of Milwaukee was sued by the same person that wanted to come live in Hartland, allegedly. Obviously, I'd be more than willing to say, I'll be restricted in my comments because they're wide open, but we know that this is, it's not a game. We know that there's people that when they can go to a certain community, that they can, I'm gonna go off just the comments that I received from our attorney. A municipality typically will do nothing until it gets to court. So he just advised that I throw caution, or tell the board to be cautious of hearing of other municipalities with 2,000-foot restrictions. Number one, they may have much more square mileage, which allows for more homes. Obviously, Hartland is smaller when it comes to square mileage, even though our population may be higher. Like Ryan was just saying, people do loiter zones, they do all kinds of different things, but our village attorney does suggest that we stay with the 750 that we're at. People can contact him, you don't have to take my word for it, but I just wanted to relay that to you. Part of that is that we are still in the spotlight, obviously because they came to us. I mean, that same person that sued another municipality sued us. That person did win monies in a six-figure amount in Milwaukee, plus had their lawyer fees paid for, and caused the city to have their complete law eliminated, and they actually chose just not to create any distance at all. So just letting you know, I want to also stress that the law, regardless of the fact that I know that the opinion of the people on the board here, including myself, is probably not the same as this. The law, when you step into a courtroom, says, nope, they served their time, and I think Chief will attest to this, he's seen it enough. They've served their time, now they have full rights as a normal citizen to go and live their life and pursue happiness. That's the way it is when you get into a courtroom. So what the village has to think about is the village could go to 2,000 feet, but we have to think about how that's going to be defensible when we step into a courtroom. But Tim, go ahead.
I think we're all in favor of trying to make it as large as possible without subjecting ourselves to a lawsuit.
I agree
Right?
with you
So
100%.
and where that fine line is, I guess, somebody needs to do research or something. So
Yep.
that's all that's what I'm.
So I guess what I'd like to see is, let's bring it back on the next agenda and for action. And let's have the next couple of weeks for that research to be done. And let's put it on, let's see what a 1,000-foot map looks like. with the loss of the Zion School zone, we're gonna gain housing area. And I'd be even open to seeing what 1250 looks like, based on the numbers of the towns around us. I don't think 1,000 is out of control by any means.
We worked on those. I'll ask that chief, work with Ryan, and we'll get it sent out to the board.
Was that not in the packet, Sandy?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
It is, but they can't
Okay.
take any action
Can't take
tonight.
action on it tonight, so we have to.
So
have
you
an
guys have the
action.
maps then?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got the maps.
Yep, okay.
We did provide some maps just to see what that does look like with the loss, if we were to take that loss of Zion, just so you kind of get a feel for what that does look like, what housing that does leave available. And then I'd just like to make a note, if there is a change, it's from that day forward, obviously. Doesn't go retroactive.
Well, I guess what I was saying is, if Zion decides to have school again, which they could, right? Then it's not retroactive, it is what it is, right? So they would
Correct.
still live there.
Correct, and that's in the ordinance today, where if they lived there prior to that being a child safety zone,
Yes.
they're allowed to stay because they were there first.
But if we adjust the map accordingly because there is no school there anymore, and then let's say they live right next door because there is no school, and then all of a sudden they decide to have school next year, then obviously he's right next door to the school and there's nothing we could do about it.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
Is it feasible, back to my original question, to look at some of these square footages in these municipalities and look at percentages of homes so that we can kind of maybe see how it plays in? Because I mean, when you talk about square footage like that and different maps,
So they don't have maps like we do. It would be a complete guess. We got sued, therefore we have bubble maps. No one else that he listed has gotten sued.
There
You can at
are
least
some
reach
bubble
out
maps
and
out there,
ask,
though.
if you wouldn't mind doing that, if you could reach out to a couple and say how much of your municipality is available. We could ask.
Sure.
I do have a couple, like I have, what do I all have here? Town of Delafield, Town of Lisbon, Village of Sussex, Oconomowoc. So that, yeah, I have quite a few that from the surrounding area that have the maps. Back to Village Manager Bailey's comment though, is these are only good up until that lawsuit rolls in, and then that's the test. So they could be good or they could not. So don't, just because they're doing it, that doesn't mean that they just didn't have that. And as you see, it was 2018 that the moratorium went in effect. We didn't have that lawsuit settled till 2023, I think it was. So there's time sometimes, it just depends who's there. And obviously the more restrictive you are, the more you'll be identified for that. So I'm saying it's just that balance. We got to find what works and what we're comfortable with. And I do think Hector and Trace could even provide some more legal type guidance to get you on the right foot as well and answer any of those questions.
And I agree with Rick, and if you have some of those, would you be able to send them to the trustees?
I could send out every one of them.
Okay, and then to add on to what Rick is saying, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, because we haven't looked at it, and if we're looking at things, this is a good time to do it. And Chief, I want you to correct me, and Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. Having the law that we have in place, it is my understanding at a much slower rate than the moratorium, be it so, but it is continuing to be less than when we had nothing. I don't know what the number was when we enacted the ordinance in
35.
What, in 2023?
Oh, in 2023?
When we enacted the actual restriction ordinance, not the moratorium ordinance.
Right before that ordinance went into effect, we were at 26.
So in 2 years, well,
2022.
let's call it, in 2 years, it has continued to decrease. So I want us to be cognizant of the fact that our baseline number where we're going to get to, I don't feel there's been enough time for us to get there. But based just on that data, 2023, with no moratorium in effect, you said it was at 25?
In 2022, we were at 26.
So 26, and now we're at 21. So that has dropped 5. I mean, that's two and a half per year. I just wanted to add that in there because that's, now that, I'm glad you had the information, because I think that that's important.
20% drop, that's pretty
We're
good.
headed in the right direction, though, even with the current law in place.
I'm not trying to talk light of this, but had this person not move into the village,
Right,
this wouldn't even be a topic right now.
Exactly.
Because things were going the correct way.
yep, exactly. I
No,
agree with
last-
you 100%.
2 years, we had one person in 24 and one person now in 25 moving to Village Heartland.
And even doubling this, it's still quite a bit of Four Winds, all of Mary Hill, all of Windrush, all of Sand Hill, all of Overlook, almost all of Bristlecone, you know. And that gentleman moved into Four Winds currently, so if they can afford that, I'm sure they would afford any of those as well. That would be going to 1,500.
We'll get it on the next agenda. We'll dig into it. I think we got a lot of good data. If you could reiterate the data by sending out an email with those maps and that question that I just asked you, kind of going through the numbers, including when the restriction ordinance was put in place, just so that we have that stuff, that'd be very, if you have time.
Yep, I
That'd be
could
great.
send it all in
That'd be great.
2 minutes.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything that they want to add that they'd like to see when this comes back up on the next agenda?
We'll make a consideration.
Yeah, and we, just because it's consideration, we may do nothing. We may say, hey, we think we're good where we're at.
Right.
But it opens up the door that anybody can make a motion to lighten or increase those distances. Okay, perfect. So now we have, sure, if you need it.
No, I'll just go to the restroom.
We have a update. Does anyone want to recess before we do the update with this? Okay. If anybody needs to go and step out, feel free to step out and then come back in. We have the update regarding the building needs study by Keller. This is a,
Could you introduce yourself, please? I don't know who you are.
So for those who don't know, wanted to give a general update and a couple items. So we'll talk about a survey and why we're looking at getting surveys done of the properties. We'll talk about the plans. We'll talk about timeline. And then we'll talk about a little bit of the presentation. So this might take 5 minutes, but it could take a little bit longer. So we'll see. As far as the survey, there was a memo in the packet. So just to give a very simplistic version, Greg and I, and mostly Greg, can really design these sites with the best intention. However, we are far enough along where we do good enough early on when we're looking at preliminary to see if a building fits on the site, if all these things will work on the site, and there's a lot of ifs. Well, we're at the crossroads of now we need to double check and make sure. And not only that, but elevations have a big play. We've talked about floodplains for quite a while, and like for the fire station property. I think that main concern that we have is making sure that our building is not encroaching into the floodplain and that we're, following all the DNR requirements. And now we're looking at new property. There's a lot of grade changes as far as the old bowling alley. And then how is that going to affect the building and placement? So really trying to fine tune those plans, and the surveys are going to be needed. Along with the fire station property is pretty straightforward. As far as the the bowling alley site, I feel, and I guess looking for the board, I feel comfortable doing a survey, even though you technically don't own it yet. It seems like there is a pretty good indication that it's moving in that direction. And along with that, it would be nice to know all this information before everything's set in stone. However, I feel pretty good about it, but you are kind of rolling the dice as far as if you don't get a survey soon enough, then you're potentially kicking the can down the road, and there's more room for delays if this doesn't get done soon enough. Any questions on that item? I'll kind of keep running through the list here. So that was the big thing, and really Greg's got these sites pretty well tuned in. This is kind of one of the bigger items that we want to make sure that everything's fine-tuned. He is working on the floor plans, so fire station didn't change a whole lot since we last spoke about it over the past couple months. Police, admin, rec building has changed quite a bit. I know those plans went out a while ago. Wanted to see if there was any, initial comments or concerns or anything. Really the main thing of the police, admin, and rec building is the spaces didn't increase or decrease, they just shifted around. So we really had to change where everything is because our entrance changed, our parking lot changed, all that changed. So the old plan is really just not applicable, but again, it's all the same spaces. Looking at some of our next steps. So where are we in the process? Well, Greg is, like I said, pretty well tuned in with the site plans. We are working on exterior renderings, so he's working on that as we speak, and we'll begin seeing what the outside of this building looks like over the next month. Along with that, we are making some progress talking to the attorneys, working through contracts and all that good stuff. And then it sounds like there's potentially some movement as far as the land as well. So a lot of these things are moving in that direction. But then as far as the big picture, I was hoping to be a little further along with contracts and everything by this meeting, but there was some additional revisions and questions. So what I am hoping for is by the November meeting, we'll be further along with the contracts. We'll really be able to talk about what that looks like, and then kind of taking a couple steps back as far as big picture. If we hit the ground running by November-ish, do construction documents in November, December, January, February, look at bidding it by March, April-ish, and then hopefully finalizing everything by, I would say, late spring, and then looking at breaking ground early, late spring, early summer. What else did I... Any questions so far? I'm batting 1,000 right now.
I don't know when I'm gonna bring it up, but I might as well bring it up now.
Bring it up.
Okay, so if we're paying, and I realize it's only 6,000, right, for the survey and 6,000 for the other location as well.
Yep.
Okay, so my question is, let's say, and I don't know what this is gonna be, and maybe you have more inside information than I do, but let's say that the bank location is $4 million that we have to fork out. So I heard one of the trustees say it's gonna be over my dead body if it's over $30 million, the total price tag. Sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, but I remember you saying that. So what I'm saying is...
If you didn't mean to, you wouldn't have said it, but go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, though, okay, so if that would put us over the $30 million mark. Do we then go back to the original location as a secondary location? And if that's the case, then do we want to wait on the survey for that location because we could change? Or is it too late in the process and we're just going to go with whatever that amount's going to be?
Well, I gotta tell you, you're a good mind reader, because I got that written right here, so I'll save it towards the end.
Okay.
So this is perfect. I think it's a good question. So originally we talked about 25 to 30 million. So that's been our discussion all along. The land is absolutely not free. So then the big question is, and I don't know if we have an answer, but at least a potentially good discussion. What do we do with the budget? Do we squeeze it in there? Because if we try to squeeze it in there, something's got to give. Or do we reevaluate it because that budget and this project is looking different? And like I said, I don't know that we got to get a decision tonight, but the reason I had it written on here is because we're going in front of the community in a couple weeks, and I like to have my ducks in a row and make sure we're all on the same page as far as how that question or answer could come up. It's not everyone at once.
We do the survey. My opinion would be we do the surveys. You have them. We're going through the process of eminent domain. And it would be nice to know kind of everything. And we'll be talking about that here in closed session a little, but the surveys, the $12,000 compared to holding off, waiting, if we get to a point where there's decisions that have to be made, you guys will make them. This $12,000 isn't going to affect that in your decision making, in my opinion.
Can I ask you a question about the building itself?
Absolutely.
The design of it? Is the new design, is the outside of the building the same? Like the front of it, is it still where it goes in where the door is?
Nope, it's all changed.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is I had a contractor look at part of that, and it would be cheaper to make it just straight instead of all the, even if that increased some of the footage, it would still be cheaper to have that straight building instead of, having a little cove here and different lengths.
Yes. So now that big driver of that goofy shape at the previous location was the goofy shape of the site. But because of, the bowling alley site, that building turned into a nice rectangle.
Rectangle, okay, because
Yes.
that's cheaper to do it that way.
Rectangles
Okay.
are very cost effective.
Okay, thank you.
I like them. They are not as glamorous, but considering the budget is the main concern, we gotta keep that
So
in check.
the price went down by enough to cover the land, right?
We're getting there. I don't know that we'll get there all the way.
We might have surplus.
I think so.
So I guess I'll make the motion then that we move forward with an agreement for the topographical and boundary plat of surveys for 550 Hartbrook and 150 Lawn Street.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the preparation of the topographical and boundary plat for the surveys at 550 Hartbrook Drive and 150 Lawn Street. Discussion. Okay, I'll go first. So based on the comments I made, or that were made, number one, I'm only one of 7 on this board. And I have every right to say, even if I wanted to say it, $30 million. That, okay, it went over, we had to put it at that site. You're right, we're gonna have to trim somewhere. We already trimmed down a fence, so we already started trimming. But that doesn't mean that I can't be, I'm gonna give my viewpoints, as I hope everyone on the board does, and a vote ends up getting taken. I am very careful in government of nickel and diming, and none of this is meant to be offensive, but the numbers we were given, or at least the way I heard them, I believe it was 25.5 or 26.5 million up to 30 million or 29.5 million. And there was even some suggestions that there's a chance that based on the work and if we can get it going, that it might be on the lower end of that. So when I make that statement, unless something has changed, my viewpoint's still in the running because 30 million. Now, if it's $4 million, we're not in the running, but let's say it's less than that, then we're still in the running. I'd still like it to stay under 30, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We got to look at we have to look at stuff, and we have to take care of stuff in closed session, and we have to talk with the bank, and we got to see where that final number comes. I'm a firm believer in that, here's the budget for the car. We want to go get this car. Unfortunately, all of a sudden some tariff charges hit, but I wanted this car. It's just that there's a tariff charge on there, so I'm going to increase my budget because now that car is 10% more. It's like, I just am explaining my thought process, but in my estimation, unless something did change with the budget, I'm still in the running. I understand it makes everybody work harder, but it's also a heck of a lot of money. I mean, the money we're talking about just for buying this land is almost what our 2/3 of what our borrowing is every 2 years for all of our capital projects. Just because we're talking about 30 million, it's like, okay, it's only it's still $2 million. I just wanted to clarify, and Tim is right. You know, I mean, I think that that's something that will have to be addressed in the real time coming if there's others that think just like me. But I mean, yeah, my eyes are still set on trying to hit that $30 million. We had come on that agreement, but I also am very open to, and I don't hold any offense if, am I gonna say, no, let's go put it at the park and piss off a bunch of people by saying, nope, we'll save the money and put it, we originally went there to save money and we had quite a few people, most of them just surrounding the area of where this is going, that were not happy with it. But, you know, we made the decision, and I was a part of that as well, of being like, wait a minute, let's look at this other option based at whatever information I was looking at. But, so, with that, I think that going through a process that's as big as this and the amount of money that people, including ourselves, will pay, I think it's important that everybody, you know, I think Tim brings up a good point that at some point we're gonna have to cross that bridge. But based on the numbers that were put forward, if we ended up on 26 million and the property was 3, we're still under 30. So yeah, I'd say no, you know, I'm still shooting for us to be at that mark. You know, and I hope that that's helpful. And I'm not, none of this is in an offensive way. I'm just saying, if it's not even close, if it's just undoable, I think it also is good for the board to know that at this time, if that range has changed for some reason. But no, you know, I want to strive for that, but we're going to see where we end up. Right now, we have a place that's got leaking windows, and we have facilities that are subpar. We got, you know, firefighters breathing in carcinogens when they're trying to blow out their equipment because their HVAC is blowing in their face and it's blowing in the stuff that's drying out, you know, uniform. We're going to have a much better product than what we have now. Will we be able to include every single bell and whistle? I don't know. Maybe we lose 2 whistles and a bell. But from the long standpoint and for the long range for Hartland, I believe that we're going to have one heck of a project with the people that we've worked with, and that the services for emergency services in Hartland are going to be much better for it, and the residents are going to be much safe, including the people that have to work in those facilities especially, are going to be much more efficient and more safe, regardless of whether we stay under that 30 million or not. Anybody else for discussion? Go ahead.
Do we feel the range has changed?
Couple things. So I don't know how long it's been. Has it been like
Not
a
that
year?
long.
6 months? We've been working on this for a while, right? So, get back in the DeLorean back to January, when all these tariffs and everything started rolling out. I was pretty spooked. I will fully admit that. I was anticipating some things that have transpired in the past. Now, all politics aside, things just really hit hard in the past, and I was very, very spooked. We haven't really seen that. I was fully expecting prices to be substantially higher. Now, granted, they are higher, but, you know, I mean, you watch the news, and, I mean, people were saying these tariffs were just going to blow everything out of the water, and I haven't seen it. So, big picture, I think we're still in a pretty darn good spot. The economy is not screaming red hot right now, which is a very good thing for you. Not great for everyone else and your 401ks per se, but the best time for you to build is when things aren't. I mean, building in COVID, when things were just out of control, was terrible. So things are looking good. Once we get a little further along with the plans, I think I'll have a much more refined budget. I mean, it's been a while. We've been kind of using these numbers. The other part of it is I have a responsibility to push back as far as if I feel a client is going in the wrong direction, or I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to speak up. It's just I have to imagine myself in your shoes. I feel pretty good right now. However, it's something that I wanted to at least bring up because, we're 25 to 30, let's say. So with my budget, I mean, the way I look at it, a budget is low is really, really good. High would be really, really bad. I mean, high is if things weren't looking good in the economy, tariffs really took off. Low is if we got really, really fortunate. I hate budgets that are unrealistic because I think they do absolutely nothing for you. So realistically, we're probably in the middle of that, let's say, for instance. So if we're in the middle of that, I mean, even on the very, very low end at 25 and everything worked out, let's say it's X amount of dollars, 2, 3 million, a million, whatever, you know, we're pulling that low end of the budget up. So it's not to say that we can't push the high end of the budget further up, because that's got to be a board decision. But again, if things change or, you know, I would feel more confident having this discussion probably if I had more, you know, accurate numbers. And once we get those elevations, we'll really be able to fine tune it. But I at least wanted to bring it up because it is something that I think everyone's going to have some time to think about and really chew on.
I just want to commend you and tell you I really like the answer, because basically what I just heard you say was that low, if land gets purchased, that low goes up by that much if that's included in the 30. And I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. The low has to come up that much.
Right.
That's just math.
Right. I'm not going to lie to you and say, well, maybe it's just
Right,
not going
right.
to.
Like that low is no longer going to be.
Right.
We're not shooting for the low anymore. I really like that answer.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, oh no, for sure we're over 30. Now it's like, well, wait a minute, what if, you know?
And it's my responsibility to help meet all of the goals. And you know, we have the goals that meet the needs, but then we also have the goals financially. And one can't work without the other. You don't want to build a building that doesn't meet the needs, but you can't build a building that doesn't meet financially. So, you know, if it's got to be a couple tough conversations, then that's what it's got to be. It's for the betterment of the community. You know, it's going to, you know, potentially be tough conversations, but again, I think we're really trending in a very positive direction.
For discussion? The motion was already made and is on the floor, so I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Thank you very much.
I got one last thing.
Go ahead.
So for the community meeting, Greg will not be there, so it'll just be me. I think you missed the last one too. So what I was anticipating going over was the 2 site plans, giving a general overview. There have been some questions as far as room sizes, changes, as far as what you have existing to new. Those are the existing plans. Someone on our team is going to go through all the rooms, itemize things, and really get some clarity as far as how many square feet you have today versus what it's going to be potentially in the future. We'll talk about budgets, timelines, and then kind of what those next steps look like. So that's what I anticipate discussing, and if there's anything else I need to be prepared, let me know. But I wanted to keep it fairly high level. I mean, I want to give them all the information we have, but I don't want to get too far into the weeds as far as little nuts and bolts, but just getting clarity so everyone in the community knows what's going on.
Thank you very much.
Don't lose those plans. They're as old as me,
Those are the original village plans?
from 1979, 80.
So if we
Yep, a little bit.
don't lose them and be safe on the road.
You can burn them.
No, what do you, those are the original documents. That's historical material.
That's for the new building. The new
Those aren't. Yeah.
Correct, not PD, not the 1910s.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying that's still part of the history of Hartland. And it's still a government document, so if someone came in tomorrow like myself and says, I want those, you're technically supposed to produce them for me. So giving out the originals is,
Took us forever to find them, let's just start there.
well, you obviously didn't put them on the copier.
They're gonna copy it.
Aye.
Thank you. Announcements.
Go Brewers.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, we're sitting at, what are we at? 0-0.
Just had a really good play.
Yeah, good double play.
Nice.
Not that
Pancake breakfast last Saturday. 672 people served, most ever.
Nice.
By 40-some people, I believe. Just some numbers that my wife gave me. 130 pounds of pancake mix, 6 gallons of white milk, 10 gallons of chocolate milk, 14 gallons of orange juice, 13 cans of whipped cream, 10 bags of strawberries, 6 bags of blueberries, and gallons of coffee. 2,000 sausages.
That's awesome.
Yeah, still waiting on numbers for as far as what we did for raffles and all that kind of stuff, so.
Good.
But it looks very good.
It looked very, very full from the pictures
Yes.
I saw, so that was great.
Great
Yes.
community showing.
Absolutely. Thank everybody that supported us, board members that were there, board members that couldn't make it, but, you know, obviously. All the people that came out, all of our sponsors that gave us baskets, we had stuff from the EAA, we had stuff from the Admirals, we had all kinds of things, 20 pounds of beef donated by Jim Wren and Wren's Nest Herefords and all that kind of stuff. It was fabulous just to see that outpouring and see all that money coming in from those raffle prizes, so.
That's awesome. Very cool.
I have no new business.
All right, our leaf pickup started today. That's gonna be running until November 16th, and our goal each week is to make it through the village. It's gonna go fast initially here while there's not too many leaves down yet, but once we get into it, we'll definitely have 2 trucks out. Parks are closing October 15th, which is Wednesday. So we're starting to work on shutting facilities down for that. Our recycling yard is still open until the 25th of November. We have the calendar online on our Village of Hartland page. And Highway 83 completion date has been extended to October 27th. But there is a thought process that it might not be open until the beginning of November, so do not hold your breath is kind of the email response I got from the DOT on that. So, pumpkin party in the park went really well. Arrowhead Parade went well. Police, fire, rec, library, Kiwanis, all the groups that came together for the pumpkin party that, you know, was a really good showing. The Catapult was a new addition this year that really took off well. Heard of a lot of kids having fun with that, so yeah.
I also will say that the pumpkin party went really well. We were helping out over there with the pie eating contest, and then I don't know if everybody heard, but the holiday train date was announced, so that will be on Wednesday, December 10th. So we're gonna start some preparations for that.
Trustee Hallquist.
I will just say thanks to everybody who participated in the pumpkin party in the park or whatever. It was a great turnout, unbelievable. So, good job for everyone.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Go ahead, Adam.
All right, both the events, the pancake breakfast and the pumpkin party at the park were fantastic. Took my kids, we had a great time. After we stuffed ourselves with pancakes, we noticed that there was like this 4-hour gap before we could go have fun again. And I mentioned to a couple of you guys and a couple others from the village when we were there, it'd be really cool to tie these events together next year on purpose. I mean, this kind of just happened this way this year. Have the breakfast go until noon, and then have the party in the park start at noon. If you go to the breakfast and you make a donation, you get something for it, and you get to use it at the park. I don't know how we do it, but they were such fun events to get, and they weren't tied together on purpose, but we had a great day because we had great things happening. So thank you guys for making it all happen.
You know who to talk to.
Could have that bike race.
Well, I echo what Adam said, and I was at both, and the fire department, all the people from the fire department were working their tails off from early morning on, and everybody was having a good time. It was a great community event. Pumpkin party in the park was just attended pretty heavily. Families just having a blast. Kudos to everybody who helped from all our departments there, so great event.
Just got one. I just A lot of you might have seen the artwork downtown. Steve Oshadorf with US Bank in the bid had that idea for Arrowhead kids to come paint all the windows all around the village for homecoming. So I thought that was kind of cool. A lot of businesses did that, a lot of cool paintings, and they'll hopefully be cleaning that off soon, or Steve said he will hand wash them on his vacation week. So.
All right, Brewers are still 0-0. I also want to commend, even though I was not able to attend either event, but I think that it's so awesome to hear that, I mean, the numbers just keep growing for the pancake breakfast. I've been there many other years, and it's a great community thing, not only for people to be able to, I mean, especially for kids, but adults too, get to meet the people that are on the department and hang out in there, and just a great time for camaraderie and community, and to know that you guys are working with the new pancake maker, that's got to be pretty awesome. But that's very cool, and to hear that it was such good showing and that the weather turned out decent for party in the park, that's good, because obviously at this time of year it gets real weather dependent, but that's fantastic. So everybody that had involvement in putting those things forward, thank you. I did want to touch on Holiday Train is coming. I did reach out. Oconomowoc tends to jump the gun. That's the only reason I sent some of those requests, but the Holiday Train will say, please don't put the date out to PD and to the village. I pushed for that something to be out, but good job, Sam and Ryan, or whoever was involved in it with getting something out. I just hate to see them get 4 days ahead of us, and I see them putting that out, and it's like, okay, all right, you want to play, we'll play. But, you know, obviously that's it's like, okay, if they're out there, let's get out there. But very cool to see that the Holiday Train is coming again. Obviously, there's no other community that's as good as Hartland that has the Holiday Train, so anybody watching that wants to go to the best community and the original community for Holiday Train here in this area, come to Hartland. And don't forget to donate. Start stocking up now, and you can save up for that food. You could, you know, be really good and have 400 pounds to bring just one family if you just start putting like 10 cans aside a week. I did receive a call from a member of the Arrowhead board. They had their meeting last Wednesday, and basically, I'm a little confused on it, but they kind of had a meeting to say, let's not make a motion on doing anything, but where do we want to go with this? But basically, they called and said they have the intent to come forward and request to be annexed by the village of Hartland. Just wanted to share that with everyone. They'll have to come forward and they have to do their work, but they did let us know that they wanted to be, or that they're going to be coming forward. It's a little bit weird because they're like, what do we have to do now? And I'm like, we can't do anything. You got to just come and request it. You got to work on that with your attorneys and do that. So I'm sure Ryan will work with them on that when they call, but they did say that they have the intent to come and be part of the village. I met with the homeowners at Mary Hill. And the Homeowners Association, there's a property in Mary Hill, and I'm bringing this into announcements because I really didn't know about this. There's a property in Mary Hill that's actually in the town of Merton. So Mary Hill actually is in Merton and Hartland, which I kind of knew that, but there's this huge mansion that's worth like $8 million where they have squatters and like the person that owns it just doesn't care about it, but it's like a cool thing for people all over the country to actually come and be like, yeah, you can come and you go in there and you can sleep for a night in this mansion and then you can, you know, and then get out of there. But so the police are called. This is real.
We have a guy that puts his car in their driveway and parks it there just so people think somebody's there.
So this is going on, but in meeting with the citizens in Mary Hill, there's people that are citizens of Mary Hill. Some of them are from Merton. All of a sudden I'm in this Mary Hill meeting and I'm like, can you raise your hand on who's from Hartland? There was like 8 people from Hartland. Like 18 from Merton. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. Okay. And they're like, what can we do to get annexed in? So there may be a street in Mary Hill. I'm just letting everybody kind of know about that. But that's, Chief has a much longer history than I do. Ask him about it. I didn't know this was going on, but it's actually a thing for people to come from long ways away just to be able to go in this house. And it's a huge, beautiful house, but it's a weird situation. So ask Chief about it.
This isn't the house on Dorn Road, is it?
Nope.
He has his lock. Yeah, it is. He doesn't lock it. He's got cars in the garage. It's just
I don't know on that. I'm just saying that's what they brought up. I was just relaying that to the board. That was one of the meetings I had. Other than that, I don't have any other announcement. For that one that I just brought, talk to Chief on that. He has much more information than I do. I first heard about it at that meeting. Obviously, Ann would know about it. She lives there. I didn't know about that. So I'm surprised Ann allowed this to go on and I didn't know about it.
I was one of the ones napping over there.
Oh, boy. Okay. I have no other announcements. So the next thing that we have, this would need a roll call vote. But pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85, Section 1, subsection E, upon a motion duly made, the board may convene in a closed session for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business, whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically regarding the acquisition of 550 Hartbrook Drive pursuant to a prior resolution of necessity.
Make a motion that we move into closed session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into closed session. Unless someone has discussion, may I have a roll call vote? Yes would be to go into closed session. No would be to not go into closed session.
Trustee Trutchell.
Yes.
Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Walschlager.
Yes.
Connor.
Yes.
Hallquist.
Yes.
President Vanderstill.
Yes. With that, that motion passes. We will go into closed session. We will take a few minutes for anyone that goes to
I will make a motion that we move forward with the amount we agreed upon during closed session as an offer to Waukesha State Bank.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move forward with the amount that was discussed in closed session to make an offer to Waukesha State Bank. I'm just going to add, and I think that this should be included at 550 Hartbrook Drive, that parcel.
Yes, thank you.
And that's part of my.
Oh, sorry.
Second is 550.
Okay, perfect.
So-
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. We have no more business on the agenda.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting's adjourned.